So welcome back to the channel. This is September 25th. I'm actually tackling the dumpster. I'm going to cut the bump out because we're ordered a liner that's basically a full rectangle. Should be very simple for that. The bump, this is fairly thick wall material here, so it took me a little while to cut this out, several hours actually. And then grinding all the welds out was real fun, but went through quite a few cutting wheels. Even tried the Sawzall. Of course, I don't have long blades for that, so that didn't go as planned. But it took a little while to cut that off, and then I'm cutting. You can see me cutting a hook that they use to actually pull the dumpster when it's full onto the truck, and I have to cut that off and then clean up the floor. It took me a while to cut that because it's an inch thick metal, and you know, the angle of the dangle is fun. I then switched over to my 7-inch grinder. And that took care of all the welds. It took a little while because they seam welded everything, so there's a lot of grinding involved, and I'm gonna have to patch the floor and the wall, of course. So once I cleaned up the surface, I started cutting the metal from the bump. That's going to be the wall and the floor material. That was the easy button since it's fairly thick. I had other stuff I could have used, but this fit just fine. I scribed the actual shape on from the back side of the dumpster so I could cut it and cut it to fit. I'd made it just a teeny bit smaller so I could fill weld nicely into the seam and make it fairly strong. So a little bit of cleanup of the paint. They just basically puke on paint on these things. They're not, you know, it's not a fine art project. So I think the inside of the dumpster, maybe it's got primer and some kind of paint on it, but the outside they put the primer and the brown color, which was supposed to be blue. But anyway, no big. So now I'm doing, I got to clean out the dumpster because there's so much junk in there from the grinding. That took me quite a while, right? And so I'm hosing it out because it's kind of a pain to sweep it. And that cleaned up the mess fairly nicely. So here I'm gonna weld up the and I had to make a little recess for the skimmer. You can see on the right side of the dumpster there's a little plate there. I had to cut that out so the skimmer sits on the wall of the dumpster, so I had to have access to get to it. So I cut it out, made a small plate, and now I'm just welding that shut so water, air, etc. won't get in there. Anyway, I didn't show you the welding of the panel on the wall. You can all see there's weld puke on it, so I welded that up nice and tight, and now I'm going to work on the actual skimmer part. So to put the skimmer in place, I basically measured off the ground. The skimmer's right against the frame, so I didn't have too much options there. I could have cut into the frame more, I guess, but I didn't want to do that. So here I just outlined the inside of the frame, and then I'm pre-drilling all the holes for the screws. Then I'm going to drill holes in all the corners, and then use the cutoff wheel. It makes nice and tight corners when you pre-drill. Normally if you grind and you go too far, you can have a little overcut. I didn't want to do that because then you have to clean that up, possibly weld it so it's nice and smooth there. Anyway, that's what I did. Then I'm readjusting a little bit to make everything nice and smooth and straight. So this took a while. I had to clean up all the weld puke on the dumpster on the inside. There was quite a few kind of rough spots from the welding. I mean, you don't care if it's a dumpster, but since we're going to put the liner in there, I want to make it nice and smooth. And then in a little bit, you'll see me puking up the welds. Actually, I had to corroseal everything, and then I painted it, and then we put caulking all over it to make everything nice and smooth, so the liner's not compromised by any means. So here, this took a little while too. I had several spare tubes of caulking from the house, just left over. Instead of returning them, I knew I was going to probably use them somewhere or sometime. So I'm just using it to smooth out all the corners. Anything that's a 90 degree, I put some in there, make it nice and smooth, and then just go to town and make everything that's rough smooth. Hey guys, if you're here, Blueberry Hill. So this is September 29th. You just saw a couple of videos I posted. One was the finishing up the deck, and then the stairway. Next, we're working on all the plumbing. Actually, I've been working on it on and off. It's a little dark down here, so actually the GoPro does pretty good down here. So we're putting all the equipment in place. I cut the holes for the return chlorinator. That's all going to have flex pipe on it, and then I'm going to do a devoted PVC pipe going from the back of the pump along the side and up to the skimmer. And right here we have, I didn't want to use a hose to fill the pool, so I installed a autofill. That's going to go to our cistern eventually. That's going to be way over there, and that'll be rainwater will come off two roofs we have up on the spare room and the offices, and that should actually do quite a bit of water. That's roughly, how much is that? It's probably 1,500 to 1,600 square feet of roof. Actually more than that, because I have the overhangs. But anyway, we're gonna have it coming down here. I'll do the same thing as rainwater collection, minimal filtering, because we're not drinking that water. It's just gonna be for the pool. So we might be drinking it, but it'll be filtered anyway by the Hayward filter there. So that's going to feed the water automatically, and we might even use that water later on for some garden activity that might happen somewhere here. We haven't decided 100% where we're going to put the garden. I thought it was going to be on the right of the house, but it's probably going to be down here somewhere. So anyway, we'll come to that when we come to it. So I'm going to switch over to time lapse and just do some plumbing. I'm doing a preliminary setup because I can't glue in the skimmer just yet. That's not a big deal, but what's going to happen there is I'm going to pre-line everything, glue what I can, and then not the skimmer, because we have to install the liner. I almost want to put a one of these couplers. Where do I have one? I have it somewhere. It's a screw-on coupler that joins two different pieces of plumbing together, screw eyes, so you don't have to cut the line or re-glue everything. Anyway, we'll come to that later, and we'll see how we go. So, and lo and behold, I started doing all the plumbing, actually gluing everything together, because it was time to do that. And you can see the coupler at the very bottom of right above the elbow. So gluing that in, actually screw into the bottom of the skimmer, and then glue everything up accordingly to the pump. So that went pretty easy. And you might notice I'm not using any primer. I'm using a general PVC glue, and there's a lot of talk about using it or not using it. So everything I've been doing here, I haven't been using the primer, and it's been working fine. Anyway, you can see me putting another disconnect coupler there for the pump, and that's working out real good. I did have to go to Home Depot several times to get some more parts. I'm using a 2-inch valve with adapters to go to 1.5 inch, and that actually makes the hole in the valve 1.5 inches, so water should flow really good. Otherwise, if you get a 1.5 inch valve, it pinches it off pretty good. So next on the list was I'm putting these top plates on the dumpster. They're going to be screwed to the main frame, and that'll hold the liner in place as well. I'm using 5-inch stainless carriage bolts, and I'm cutting these 45-degree angles, basically using the Trex we have left over, and that'll just bolt to the top of the dumpster and hold everything in place. So easy solution. It looks pretty good, in keeping with the entire deck. So anyway, this took a little while too. It was when it gets sunny where I'm at right there, that gets pretty warm, so don't want to kneel too much on that. But and then the fun part was drilling holes. So here I'm using a junky drill bit. I used it for 2 holes, and that was the end of that. So I went to my big drill, the rigid drill. I killed it. Actually, I remember a problem with it the last time I used it, and it basically fell apart. So that drill's dead. And then I went to a quite expensive drill bit, I think like $17 for a 3/8 inch drill bit, and that did all the rest of the holes without any trouble whatsoever. And it's still sharp, so I guess the dollars are worth it. Anyway, that took me a little while, no big deal. Roughly bolts every 4 feet, and that should be plenty to hold the liner in place and make everything nice and tight. big day here. So this is the liner install day. There was real no easy way to check the liner, so we're just gonna put it inside the dumpster and try to install it. First, we're installing 1/8 inch wall foam, and that's gonna go on everything inside the dumpster. It doesn't compress when you walk on it or anything like that. It stays nice and tight, but this hides all the little imperfections in the walls. Some of the seams, you can see where black lines, right? That's the paint. And the caulking. Caulking did a pretty good job, and putting the foam on it makes it even better. So nice and smooth, and it turned out pretty good. I only bought 2 cans of the spray glue, so didn't want to overuse that, but everything went pretty good. Took a little while to get all this going, and then some of the seams I cut over long, and then you see me scribing down the wall and make it nice and tight. The tighter you can make the seam between the foams, the nicer it will look, just like upholstery, I guess. But anyway, it went pretty good. It's hard working with very long pieces, so we figured it out. Here we go, banging it out. So for the sections below, right now we're going to roll it out and make the corners lengthwise. I want to do it, I didn't want to make the seam in the corner itself, so we're just overlapping on the wall and then going to the floor, and then we'll fill in the floor with other pieces. So, and that we scribe so we don't have any kind of connection point that you can see through the vinyl. So anyway, pretty straightforward. Got to have the help because it's doing this one person. I don't think it'd be very easy, because once you put the glue on it, it was windy and stuff, and you want it to fold over on you. Well, here we go, liner fun. So I dragged the liner over, basically we unrolled it, and then it was fairly easy to see what corners go where. It's a rectangle, so everything should be nice and square. It was easy to find the corners on the floor, and then we basically pushed it around until it was nice and even with the floor. And then we tried to straighten it out with the top corners, and that did not go as planned. In fact, as I'm speaking to you, they're making us a new liner because they kind of messed up, and you'll see that when I point out a few of the mistakes. The corners were not at all lined up, so it became a twisted rectangle. So decided to put water in it anyway, because I didn't want water in it. It's going to rain this week. I didn't want water on the foam because we'd have to suck that out somehow. But anyway, we put the liner in place, started filling it, and I've been actually smoothing out the liner and swimming a little bit last couple 3 days. So this is 4 days after this effort. Once we figured out how to clamp and stuff to the dumpster so it would hold in place while we smoothed it out, it didn't go too bad. The only problem is, you'll see in a minute, is the corners. So I've never done a liner before, neither has Angie and stuff, so this was a test and go effort. Smoothing it out was not too bad. Once again, there's seams for the bottom floor and the walls, so that was very easy to figure out where those went. Made those nice and square to the walls, and now we're trying to make everything nice and flat on the walls themselves. Yeah, it was a little bit of pain trying to keep the liner from falling because there was no easy way to clamp that. So anyway, you'll see that in a little bit we'll have water in it, same day I think. And then I'll show you the problems that we have. And again, it took 3-4 days for them to get back to us about. First they said you just have to stretch the corners if they're not working, and I just sent them a few more pictures, and it was very obvious that it was not right. So they're redoing the liner, and we're gonna get that in, they said 8 to 10 days plus shipping. So it's another 2-3 weeks max, hopefully. Yeah, the fun part though, we filled it with, of course we have rainwater, so not a big deal. We used about 1/3 of the tank to fill it, and we're gonna have to empty it, replace the liner, and refill it. I was gonna repair it, but we'll see. I might try it, and we'll have a spare liner in the future, so we'll see what happens. Hey guys, October 1st, yay! Can you hear that noise behind me? That's water. Look, we're filling the pool It's not a perfect liner. We've got a few problems, but I'm still filling it because I'm not going to wait 2 more weeks for another liner. We'll see what they do for us, but here's the funny part. So the corner, which is right here, does not line up with that corner down there. It's like a foot off, right around there. It's pretty easy for me to see this vertical lines, or horizontal, whatever, you know, whatever. You can see that it's like tiles, right? And they put the corner right there. I don't totally care. I'm sure it'll stretch out, but I'm gonna have to probably cut this and weld it. We'll see what they say, because there's no point in actually waiting 2-3 weeks for just that. The liner works fine, or should work fine, so we're going ahead with water. Plus it's going to rain in the next couple of days. You saw the time lapse where we put down foam, wall foam on the floor and on the walls. I don't want that to start holding water without the liner in place, so we decided to start filling it. I sent an email to the company I got it from. We'll see what they say. They might, I don't know, give us a couple $100 or something. I don't really know. Maybe a liner repair kit or something stupid. But it is what it is. Exciting day. We got lots of water to go. But anyway, it's pretty level. I've been in there making the liner nice and flat on the bottom. When there's a little more water, I'll run in and start walking up the walls and making it hang better. So the water pressure basically makes the liner nice and smooth. Take all the wrinkles out. There's not a whole lot in there. It's very, the liner's not too bad. That's just hanging right there. Oh man. Hi guys, we're here at Blueberry Hill. So this is October 4th. We haven't been recording yesterday much. Actually, probably not at all. We've been waiting for the pool to fill up. So take a quick look. We have water in the pool. Yay! It is not complete. I'm waiting on some glue to fix the corner problem. You can see, I showed it in another part of the video, but you can see the top corner is off from the bottom corner, and those 2 corners back there are about a foot off. So the way to fix this, it's kind of like vinyl. I do some vinyl work. I'm going to slice it here and here, and actually have to slice it right in the corner area. It'll be, so this will lay down flat, this will lay down flat, and then I'll put a patch in the middle of it. I ordered some vinyl glue, mending glue, and that'll work fine. Corners are not under load, so it's not a big deal. Once we put it down under the plates, bolt it all down, it's good to go. But yesterday I had to wait for the pool to fill up pretty much for the whole way, so I could put those in, and then the skimmer, and then I think it took about 10 hours for the water to fill up, which isn't too bad. It was about an hour for 6 inches. So my idea with the stairs will be to actually get 2x12s, very dry 2x12s, and make a small platform and a couple of steps leading down to the bottom of the pool, right on the edge. And I'm gonna basically saturate the 2x with fiberglass. So it should waterproof everything. I can put it together mostly with wood, and then I'm just gonna impregnate fiberglass resin through the whole thing, and that should stop it from any kind of rot or whatever. I might use some aluminum to hold stuff together. We'll see. Definitely stainless hardware, so we don't have to worry about any kind of corrosion. And we'll put it in the top part of the pool here. Design wise, I hadn't decided yet, so we'll see where that goes. But there'll be a small little platform, and I think there's 2 steps going down from the platform into the bottom of the pool.